I'm Mike Sparks. We're here at Smyrna High School, my alma mater, and we're going to have Coach Bryan Turner and Coach Luke Shepard on the air with us, and I'm looking forward to y'all join us.
You know, I was kidding him the other day about wearing me out a few times back in the day.
Yeah, you probably needed to do that.
He did not. I tell you what, that's one thing about him. He didn't play around. You know?
Well, you know, I really think a lot of people have a lot of respect for him, and now for Mr. Powell for what he's doing here. And Coach Bryan Turner's with us, boys basketball coach. And we were here, I guess, not last Friday, but the Friday before on the night, Coach, when they were doing the ring ceremony for, you know, girls softball. And you were up in the press box, and you and I had a little conversation. And, you know, there's some excitement here at Smyrna High School, and I think you're trying to bring a lot of that back here to Smyrna and to the basketball program.
Oh, yes, sir. That's a big thing. You know, getting the students excited about, you know, wanting to come out and support us, but not only that, but also the community. You know, I still come to a lot of basketball games, even when I wasn't here, when I was at Stewart's Creek, and coming and not seeing a lot of the people that just are Smyrna people. And, you know, with the competition now across town, you got to make sure that they are excited. They want to come, and you give them a good product. And with that, you know, I told you earlier when we were talking, we're trying to do a lot of themed nights for our games and stuff. So just to let people know, you know, our opening night is November 12th. And that's here against Columbia. We're doing a fan appreciation night. Every person that comes through the door, we're going to give them a band that's got a little meaning to our program, to our basketball program, some things that me and the boys talk about. The second night, which is November 19th, we play Tullahoma here, and you know we're gonna have a Purple Dynasty night. I know the kids will get excited about that. Every student that comes through the door, they're gonna get in for $3 as long as they've got purple on. And I've got a few old purple items from back in the day that we're gonna put on some of these kids who are just at all the sporting events, and they're excited about it. But like you said, if you're not trying to get out and let people know what you're doing, people they don't find out.
You know, there are thousands of other things that people can get involved in and get excited about and do. I mean, and many of those are maybe even the comfort from their own home. So you've got to work to get people out, to get people into the gym, to get people excited about something like that.
Well, you know, that's one of the reasons I really appreciate Mr. Sparks letting us get on this morning and talk. And he and I had been talking, you know, earlier I was at the Rotary Club about a month ago, talking to the Rotary Club, not actually asking for anything, but just letting them know what our program's about. You know, I spent the entire summer in here trying to renovate our facilities, and I think the boys are pretty proud of those facilities now. And now it's time to get these guys to, in return, give back. And when we were talking about weightlifting earlier, you know, we condition, and all of that's to get into shape. But more importantly than that, it's to bring them together so that they see that they're making an investment in this program. And I think when the community sees that we pull together and we play a little bit harder, they're going to be more excited.
You know, something you were talking about earlier while we were off the air about having the young man go up in the stands and talk to people, shake some hands. I thought that was good. And y'all were out the other day with the Boys and Girls Club. You want to maybe talk about that?
Well, Dwayne Sadler, who's a really good guy, you know, he's with Little Caesars Pizza and stuff. He called me from when I was at the Rotary Club, and I've told these guys I want them out in the community. I want them to understand that they need to give back, but the community supports them. So even though it was fall break, we were able to get about 10 or 11 of our guys to come out and help serve pizzas. It was a love kitchen that Dwayne had brought in. It usually only comes in natural disasters. But came here and fed the kids at the Boys and Girls Club. And our boys, about 10 of them came out, and we helped serve pizza. And then we even sat with the kids and just talked to them, let them know that basketball is alive. One of the sayings that we've got is Bulldog pride is alive. And we want people to know that. So it was a good time.
You know, I try to tell my son's an 8th grader, and you know, sometimes getting in the game, you know, you have just different things. I tell him though, every time that you put on that uniform, every time you put your school's name on you, and you're walking around, you're a representative. Whenever you do the same, you know, when you've got Smyrna High School on, you're representing Smyrna High School. That's a big responsibility for a kid, though.
You know, I don't think coaches talk enough about that these days. You know, back even when you just said that, I got a little bit of a chill bump, because when you wear those colors, you should feel that pride.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from the work and the dedication that you put, you know, into your sport. But too many kids, I think, today worry about the back of their jerseys, about their own name, their own number, instead of the front and what it says.
You know, something that Senator Bill Kitcher and I presented a proclamation to Kermit Davis, MTSU. We were back there in their locker room. Beautiful area back there if y'all haven't got to see
The
it.
boys actually seen it. He
Oh,
invited us up to
it's
practice.
sweet. And we were back there, and I wasn't expecting all these news cameras and all to be back there. We walked back there with the resolution. They were already set up. And Dr. McPhee said something that to me was so cool. I wish it was, I guess it is recorded. There's probably a news clip out there. And he was telling those guys, he said, you know, the greatest moment for him, for Dr. McPhee, is to shake their hand when they walk across that stage getting that college degree. And it was just a pumped up speech. And he said the decisions that you make today, you know, have consequences. You know, you don't just represent you and your family, your parents, your brothers and sisters. He said, but you represent that school, you represent those alumni. And now you see Vanderbilt with a lot of problems with their some of that case that's going on now. And as a coach, as you know, you may be the only father in some of these young men's lives.
That's a huge responsibility.
It is.
I mean, I ain't trying to put no pressure on you, but
Hey,
but
that's okay.
I just like what he had to say, and it was really. I just thought, you know, I told Dr. McPhee, I said, man, I didn't know you can give such a good pep talk.
Yeah, I think,
No.
you know, Mr. Harris and Mr. Powell knew when they brought me in that basketball is what I love, but I'm going to use basketball as a stage to teach young men how to be better men.
Yeah,
And if you're not doing that, you're cheating the entire system.
yeah.
Let's talk to a few of the guys. We've got Taylor Vanderbilt and Richard Mulligan joining us here. And Richard, you look a little meaner on the basketball court than you do here just sitting across from me. Enjoyed watching you and Taylor play last year. What's been the most exciting thing about the change and having Coach Turner in here this year?
Might not be the most fun thing, but Coach makes us focus on details a whole lot. Details, he preaches it, we practice it, and it's very frustrating.
That's a good word for it, huh?
We've never focused on details the way we focus on it now, but then we just look and we can see how much better we've gotten from day one when he's been here, and we kind of look at each other and we're like, ooh, we don't know about this. And then to now, it's very encouraging, and we're really making
Good
strides
shock
get
to the
better.
system, huh? All right, we've got to. Okay, Mike. I'm trying to fix everything, Scott. So, so it was a shock to your system, you said, Richard, right?
Yes, it is. It's a big shock to our system, and just a change of culture. And like Coach said, he's not just coming here for basketball. He's coming to change us as men as well. He genuinely cares about us as men.
Taylor, you've been with the program how long? What year are you?
I'm a junior this year.
You're a junior, so you played some last year. Did you play as a freshman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thought so. I guess you're going to have to say nice things since the coach is sitting right beside you.
Maybe I should get up and walk away for a little bit here.
What else are you going to say? But, you know, Coach Turner shared with me that, you know, all the changes in the locker room and all this new stuff that's coming around, just a clean new approach. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I really am. For me, it was a little bit different for me this summer and stuff. I had a different kind of off season with how everything went, but I came back to school and I hadn't tried out anything, and I walked in the locker room with Richard, and I was like, wow, like why is there hardwood on the floor? Where's the carpet that was here when I was last year? And it was crazy. And I was like, yeah, Coach Turner's going to do some big things, and he really has. From everything from our uniforms to our style of play, everything's just changed, and I feel like it's going to be a really good season.
What is one thing? What is the one thing that you like the best?
One,
Can you pick out one?
I mean, there's a lot of from between the locker room and the uniforms. They're cool, but just the way Coach Turner, like, he treats us as he treats us as like we're one of his own, and he keeps us as.
Now, if he's answering that question honestly, I think he would have said 6:45 morning workout.
Well, I'm going to ask what is the worst thing, and that may be up on the top of that list.
The worst thing is that word details. I hate that word with passion, because for me, I've never looked at. I'm a detailed player, but I've never looked at details as hard as he makes us look at them. It's like I could do something right, and it still be wrong. And so I was like, I would be like,
Patience is the next word we're teaching, I promise.
Well, you know, Bryan, it's one of those things. we have a lot of young people that come through and work at the radio station, and there are right ways to do it, and then there are better ways to do it the right way. Paying attention to the smallest of details, like listening to some audio before you air it in case there is a problem. Getting there a little early to make sure you troubleshoot and understand that we're going to be able to go on the air in 15 minutes and not waiting until 5 minutes ahead of time. Just those little things make a big difference in the quality, no matter whether it may go off without a hitch if you get there 5 minutes before, but that extra 10 minutes can be helpful.
Trying to really talk to these players about preparation.
Yeah.
And one of the things I link to it all the time is 2 words: confident players versus cocky players. The prepared player, the one that's went out and worked hard and believes, he's a confident player. He shows it in his game, and I've seen a lot of cocky players in high school that come out and they're tugging at their jerseys, or they hit a 3, they're holding their hands up. That's a cocky player. You don't have to do those things if you prepared and you believe in your system. And, again, that just goes with changing mentality and culture. And I tell you, that's the biggest challenge.
So what happens to a player that does that this year? Will they find themselves sitting beside you for a few minutes?
I try not to back myself in the corner on anything. The thing is, I'm going to try to be a proactive coach. I'm going to try to talk about things, make sure that the kids understand what we need to do to be successful, and help them understand. If you're doing your job, you don't have to be the show. The show is our team and the things that we do on the floor. So, I haven't made any threats, and I don't really want to.
Sure.
That's something I'm trying to grow up in my maturity and understand is the more things that you put out there, if you do this, this happens. It's very, very, very hard to deal with on the backside. But if you're proactive and you let them know what you expect ahead of time, you curb a lot of those problems. And believe me, every day is a conversation with at least 2 or 3 players on how we can do things better.
Well, there's always the next day in running, so what.
If the bench won't motivate, consequences will.
There you go. We're going to try to get Hunter and Chevelle over here as well, but Taylor and Richard, looking forward to it. I know work's already underway, I guess, right now to get ready for the season, and want to wish you good luck, and we'll see you here on the radio one of these days here in the very near future, okay?
We're excited about these 2 juniors coming up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring in your other 2 over here as we continue the conversation from Smyrna High School and Rutherford issues, the North Rutherford County edition. We've got softball coming up here in just a second with Sam Shepard. He's got some of the girls in as well. So as we do that, pick up that microphone there, Hunter. And what grade are you here, Hunter?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior, one of the senior. Now, what about you, Chevelle? He's a junior, okay. So let's talk to how many seniors are on this basketball team?
There's about 4 of us. Right now we only have 2 because we got 2 playing football, but we got 4. A lot of them are new, but I'm one of the only 4-year players so far. So
there's a little pressure on you being a senior this year, new head coach, all of these things. I'm sure you've been in Coach Turner's office and he's been asking you some things, and a lot of times there's a lot of pressure on a senior. How does that feel?
I mean, it's been a learning experience. I'm just trying to take it in every day, but I always try communicating with Coach. We're very honest with each other, and I just try having an open relationship with him so I can communicate things to the players, and I can communicate between the players and himself. So that's pretty much my role.
I'm going to give you a chance here to tell me about the shoot-a-thon, and what are you all doing here with the shoot-a-thon?
Well, the Bulldog Shoot-a-thon's a good way for us to raise money. We have a Christmas tournament in Florida that we're trying to raise money for. You're just trying to get people to donate, whether it's they're giving just a donation or they're pledging for how many free throws you can have out of 100. But it's a good way. I mean, Coach Turner doesn't want us to just ask money out of our parents' pockets. He wants us to take responsibility and try raising this money ourselves, and that's one of the things you're saying about raising us, trying to make us become men. He's really trying to help us take responsibility for ourselves and not just looking to our parents. And this is a good way for us to help ourselves out and help our parents out.
So this Christmas tournament, Coach, you all are going to go to Florida this year?
We're Daytona Beach bound, baby. Day
Right.
after Christmas we leave, and we'll come back on New Year's Eve day. The Christmas tournament is at Father Lopez High School. It was actually a Christmas tournament when I was at New Smyrna Beach High School coaching that we participated in a couple years. It's an 18 tournament, tournament format where you get 3 games. You win 3 games, you win a tournament. And I'm hoping to go down and be pretty successful in it. Talked with Coach Miller there quite a bit, and he loves getting out-of-state teams to come down. And it's right in my my backyard. I lived about 3 miles from where we'll be staying, right beachfront condo there in Daytona. So I'm really excited about it, and I know the boys are. And like we said, it's just another way to get them excited, give them something to look forward to, and make sure that they're working hard towards their goals. But I tell you what, I didn't prompt this guy. Maybe he should be the coach.
It's a pretty good spokesman right there.
Yeah, it made me feel pretty good to hear some of the things that we've talked about come right back with responsibility, and I love that.
Y'all aren't driving the old van down there, right?
Well, as of right now, that's great that you asked that, Mr. Sparks. Right
Talk
now,
about
we're
fiscal
taking a school bus.
Fiscal management. Boy, that thing's like 1978, isn't it?
Well, we're planning on taking it, but I'll
Are
tell
you serious?
We're taking the 20-passenger bus out back, but I tell you, we'd love to do a coach. In fact, my assistant coaches are all over me every day. Coach, let's try to raise this extra money, and we've got a couple ideas. I've been trying to talk to them, but you're talking about $5,000 to get a coach to take you down, and that's tough. With everything else, we've redone this locker room. We've got a shooting gun, which basketball people know. It's about $6,500 there, and new uniforms, new shooting shirts. It's been an endeavor, to say the least, and that's why this last stage of our fundraising is with the boys. I want them to understand, just like Hunter said, the responsibility and importance of them to earn some of that.
Now, if anybody wants to sponsor, they can call you on your cell.
Sure, we'll get a boy, one of our players with them, but they can call me, Coach Turner, at 482-7469. They can pledge based on how many shots one of our players makes out of 100.
Yeah.
Call me and we'll put the pledge down, or the donation, a straight donation. And then after we get through shooting on October 27th, the players will go out and they'll collect the money themselves. I really don't have anything to do with this one.
Yeah, teach us some good salesmanship.
Yes, sir.
Let's bring in Chevelle Glover. He was actually the first one here in the library. So is your classroom fairly close by, or what? Well, tell me about, in your junior, you told me, tell me about your time here at Smyrna High School. What do you enjoy most about playing basketball?
Like getting better every day. I like the new coach a lot. I like Coach Turner a lot. They don't understand. I think they're gonna do good this year.
You play in a very competitive league, obviously, in District 7 AAA. I had 2 of the boys' teams from this league in the state tournament last year, and girls is very competitive as well. And I know that's where you all want to get, right? How do you get there? What's Coach told you how you get there?
Details.
It seems to be a theme here this morning.
I told you, you're going to hear that more than you wanted to this morning, Brian.
But yeah, just hard work. Bringing in every day. Make sure we come in ready to work hard every day.
So what position do you play?
I play 5, 4, a little bit of 3.
And what do you like most about this game of basketball? Regardless of being at school and Coach Turner and everything, what is your passion about basketball? Why do you like to play?
I just, I don't know, like when I pick up a ball, I get a rush. I just love it.
It's not the fans in the stands or the girls cheering or anything like that. It's just basketball. Well, that's awesome.
I tell you, Brian, Chevelle's he's a quiet player, as you can tell. But
Yeah.
on the floor, it's totally different. I try to put my shoes on every now and then still. It's pretty embarrassing, but he pushes me around like a rag doll. It's amazing how strong he is. And it's been neat watching these guys, over these last couple months, both Hunter and Chevelle kind of grow in their game. Hunter's coming in early on off mornings, getting on the shooting gun. We've worked out a few things in his shot, trying to build confidence with him shooting. Where Chevelle, we're trying to get him a little more athletic, a little quicker up and down the floor. And now to see that, in fact, I think it was just yesterday, wasn't it, Chevelle, that I asked, I said, you lost a couple pounds? Looking a little thinner, a little meaner. So, just finding the boys' weaknesses and trying to improve those and make those strengths. When they start seeing that, there's where your belief will come in. It's like you said, 7 AAA, that's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
With Blackman being ranked #1 in the state most of the year last year, Siegel being as high as 5, both of them being in the state tournament. These boys have got their work cut out for them. And, you know, the stages you go through. Stage 1 is get them to learn how to play hard. Stage 2, get them to learn how to play harder. And then you hit them with the details and how to prepare. And that's where we're fixing to start, because we start up October 28th. That's 2 Mondays from now, and we're going full-fledged instead of just conditioning and weightlifting.
Well, we need to get a quick break in here, and about to run out of time. And I know, you know, Mike will never get to go home if we don't get Sam on here real quick. So, yeah. Brian, appreciate it, and we'll of course have you on the coaches shows here real soon. And looking forward to your time here at Smyrna High School.
I appreciate it, Brian. Mr. Sparks, I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take our break, our final break, come back, and we're going to talk a little softball as we wind up here this morning. Stay tuned.
Well,
Back in our final segment here of the program, and we've got to catch up here with Luke Shepard, Sam Shepard. As long as they call you for dinner, I guess you're ready to go, right?
That's right. I don't care what you call me. Just call me.
All right. So how did the name? A lot of people just say, "Hey, Shep." So I mean, how did the Luke and the Sam and all that come about?
Well, I go by Luke. It's my middle name. I always
Okay.
have. But in the county, you are. It's your last name, first initial, and so everything in the
I
county
gotcha.
shows up as Samuel. So.
Oh, okay. Well, now I understand. And Mike should have told me this, and he didn't even know. I mean,
Well,
you probably had him
he's
over
like
for turkey.
how many years younger than my wife are you? She's
I don't know.
he's like the baby. Well, you just had a little brother who got married
Yeah.
what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. I'm the middle one. I think she's maybe. I'll put it this way. She's a tiny woman, and I rode in her lap when she used to work the gas pedal and let me drive her truck. That tells you.
Oh, wow.
How little I was.
Yeah.
Coach, we were here doing the Smyrna Oakland football game the other night when at halftime these girls got their state championship ring, and just driving through town I saw the signs that have the 2013 state softball championship on there. It's been a pretty special time. It really changes everything, doesn't it, when just that one game?
Well, if you want to bring it down to one game, I think it was a pretty amazing season. But yeah, it's really been awesome to see the community kind of crowd around us and support us and put those things up. I know a lot of excitement. I got a couple pictures, I think 2 or 3 days ago, from some former players that had seen the signs that were up. They're, hey, do you know the signs up? And actually, in some of the places, I didn't know they were up. So it's really cool to see that, and I know it brings a lot of pride to the school and to our program as well.
Well, my thing about one game is, a lot of people put so much pressure on winning a state championship. They just have no idea what goes into it and how long and grueling it is. What, you were 40-10, I think, on the year, and just had an amazing run through the postseason. And this county is so spoiled. We think that if it doesn't end in a state championship, that it wasn't a great season. So you got there. A lot of other teams haven't.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right, and it is in this county that I've taught in Wilson County my first few years, and I grew up in Wilson County. So coming over here, it is a championship-rich district, and it is very difficult to get out of this district, number one, to get into the region. And I think that's one reason why these teams fare so well. When you come out of this district, you've played some of the best in the state. So if you represent the top 2 in our instance, for softball, they take the top 2. You represent the top 2 out of this district, you've had to beat some teams that could be first in other districts. So I think that helps prepare us. And then as a football coach here for Smyrna in 06, it was the same thing. We kind of, it's been referred to the SEC of Middle Tennessee football in those days. So, and it's still, continue to be strong with Blackman and Oakland, and Smyrna a few years ago made another trip back. So this district's really difficult. It produces a lot of great athletes and a lot of great programs. So.
Well, on the softball side, I'm sure they haven't forgotten it over at Riverdale, but I mean they were in the state tournament, and what did they finish in the final 6? Final 4, something, they won a game in the state tournament, and that's competition that you have to play several times a year.
Exactly.
There were other teams, Oakland, I'm just going down the list, Siegel. I mean, all of these teams were really, really good, so you had your work cut out for you. You're saying that that is what helped prepare you to get to the state tournament, state championship.
And definitely, and I think there's a lot of things, as coaches, you enter all these tournaments during the regular season to try to prepare yourself for tournament play. We get the luxury of, the Warrior Classic being here and getting to see a bunch of teams. But just within our district, like you said, we played Riverdale 5 times last year, and they won a game in the state tournament. So, that shows where they were. And at the same time, you had Oakland, who beat us last year every time they played us. So a lot of credit to them. And they didn't even make the state tournament. So that kind of tells you where our district, was as a whole. And I think, like I said, that just prepares us even more when you're competing against people. When you put 2 teams out of the same district into the state tournament, I think that says a lot.
Well, we've got like a minute and a half here left, and one thing I wanted to make sure that we got from you today is the fact that these girls did the work on the softball field. They won the state championship. They've been rewarded with championship rings, but I'm sure that if somebody out there in the community would like to step up and help sponsor some of this, help offset the cost, because it's a pretty expensive endeavor.
Yes, we are still taking donations, and any of that can be made out to Smyrna High School softball and sent directly to Smyrna High School, and it'll get to the right place. The rings, the first time ever for this program to win a state championship, so we kind of went out and it was a special season, so we want to reward them with a special ring, and took a lot of time to design, and we're proud of the final product that Balfour came up with, and worked out real well.
Well, we could certainly talk about where this program came from, and that'd be a whole, a different hour of conversation. But to say going from where you've been to winning a state championship, it's a pretty remarkable turnaround.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it hasn't seemed like it's taken that long. And I know, looking over here, and I see Mackenzie and Mallory Prince, whose older sister, Kelsey, played for me one of my first years here as head coach. I think we won 4 ball games. So you take and you look at when Kelsey was here, her senior year, we won 4 ball games. So these ladies, their junior year, winning 40. That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
Well, that means we've got to wrap it up here, but I want to say thanks, Coach. Thanks to everybody. Thanks, Mike Sparks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
back here next time for another edition of Rutherford Issues tomorrow. And want to say so long here from Smyrna High School. Bryan Barrett signing off. We'll see you later here for another edition of Rutherford Issues tomorrow.
All right, I'm Mike Sparks here at Smyrna High School. We just got through doing WGNS 100.5 radio show over here, and want to interview some of the softball players. We got Coach Sam Shepard, otherwise known as Luke Shepard to me, my wife's cousin here. Wanted to get some of the girls to introduce themselves if we can.
I'm Mackenzie Prince. Mallory Prince. Kelsey Russell. Taylor Randolph.
Luke Shepard.
Okay. Luke, I know y'all had a big season. I want you to kind of talk about it and kind of go from there.
Yeah, we had we finished the season of the 40-10 record and won the 3A state championship for the first time in school history. So it was a pretty impressive season for us, and just really capped it off. The previous year kind of led into it, where we had won more games than we have in a long time, and finished runner-up in the district. So we knew coming into last season that we were going to have a pretty good year, but I think we had to have a special run toward the end, and I don't think it really set in on any of us until after the season was over at how special it was. We literally didn't lose a game after like May 1st, and we went through the entire district, region, and state championship undefeated. So that was a really special run.
Any final words you want to say? Any girls you want to say anything? Everybody's a little shy. It's Laura Prince, both good folks. They've been on the radio with us also. Well, Luke, just give us some closing words real quick.
Well, it's October, so it's a little ways away from our season, but these young ladies are in weightlifting and conditioning, and we've been throwing and doing all those things, and just really getting back to doing the work that we did, the last 3 or 4 years. I think that's helped us get to where we were last year. Yeah, these young ladies have been doing a real good job, about getting out there and doing weightlifting. They have 7-period weightlifting 4 days a week, and then we condition 4 days a week after school as well. And this group of young ladies that are sitting here with me are our upperclassmen, and really the leaders on the team, and they're out there every day. Got the young girls going through the motion. The new freshmen that come in don't really know what to expect, and I don't think they do a lot of conditioning and weightlifting in middle school, so it's been a shock for them. And these young ladies sometimes when Sean Middleton, my assistant coach, is the girls' head basketball coach, so he's not able to be out there all the time during the fall. So a lot of times faculty meetings come up and I'm not going to be there. It's great to know that we got this kind of leadership, these 4 young ladies out there, having the other girls without a coach out there, and they're still going through the throwing practices and conditioning and all that. And I have a lot of faith and trusting in young ladies to make sure that the other girls get done what they need to get finished. So.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, boys!